Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard, Cisneros, at your service. Today I will be reading the March 4th Facebook post and making a few comments on it, and I trust it will assist both of us on our journeys. Here we go. The power you hold over the world you see. This world may seem to imprison you with anger, resentment, and disappointment. Yet this world is simply a reflection and physical representation of the thoughts that you value and support as real within your mind. Thus, it is not this world, but the thoughts you hold about this world that hold you hostage. In the end, it is only you who can hold yourself hostage. The external environment is neutral. Its neutrality is broken by your perception of it. Your perception is simply a composition and combination of beliefs that you have consented to as normal, real, and acceptable. Nothing or no one that is quote unquote outside of you can make you feel angry, resentful, or disheartened without your permission. It is you who holds the power to see the truth in all things by first recognizing it in yourself. As you recognize the power you have over your thoughts, you will start to see the true power you hold over the world you see. We have a great deal more control over the world we see than we have been taught, programmed to believe. What seems to be happening out there is not really so much happening out there as it is within you, within us, within each one of us. We might think that we see one world out there, but we're really seeing 7+ billion ways of seeing this world. Some much more different than others, and some quite alike. But still, we are seeing 7 billion worlds out there. And we have been programmed to see it a certain way through our family, friends, our societies have taught us what is quote unquote right, wrong, what quote unquote makes you angry, resentful, or sad, or happy, or joyful. And so, as we grow into the spiritual beings that in truth we are, as we align with our eternal essence, which is love, for God is love, and love is our creator, and love is all. And there are many expressions of love, such as kindness, joy, peace, compassion, generosity. All those and much more are expressions of love, which in truth we are. And therefore, if we're seeing anything apart, not aligned to our truest self, to our true essence, then we have simply bought into the ego's programming, into the idea that there is an opposition to the truth in us, to all. And so we have been taught to see people or experience relationships through anger, resentment, jealousy, stress, anxiety. And so we have been, whenever we are seeing the world through those eyes, through the ego's eyes, then we will not feel aligned with the truth within us. We will not feel like we have total control over what is occurring. And it's not so much you have control over what is occurring, it's you have control over your perception of what is occurring. And so something occurs, and an individual does X or Y. And if we are aligned with our true nature, we are aligned with the memory that each one of our journeys is sacred. And so when the person does X or Y, we respect that person, or we simply acknowledge to ourselves that this person has co-created their perfect journey with God, with Source. And therefore, no matter what it's looking like, that is what's best for that individual and those around him for right now, for whatever reason. Now, if we're not at peace with that, then we are usually buying into the ego's programming that this person's behavior doing X or Y is making us feel angry or sad or resentful. And that's not our truest essence perceiving that individual. That is our programmed self. That is the ego self. That is the self that believes that there's an opposite to love. There's an opposite to all. That that the opposite of love is fear, instead of really the opposite of love is nothing, because love is all. The opposite of peace is not anxiety or stress, as the ego would define it. The opposite of peace is nothing, because peace is our true essence. Peace is all. And so you see, when we're out of alignment with the truth within us, it is then that we're buying into the ego's fairy tale, into how the ego has programmed us to see this world. Because if it is teaching us to see the world as in the form of resentment or anger or jealousy or stress or anxiety, then it is tweaking us to believe that its thought system is real, that the illusion that is the ego's thought system is actually real. Because if we are resentful, angry, jealous, then somewhere within we know that that is not in alignment with the truth within us. And the truth within us is in alignment with God's source. So if we believe in this illusion, then we cannot be part of this truth, this whole, because this is all. And you're connected to all. And this is nothing. But in the world of duality, in the world where the ego has programmed us to believe things to be certain ways, that you can actually, that peace can actually react with anxiety and stress. That that love can actually react with hate and fear. When we're playing that game of the ego, we're simply buying into a programming, something that is not really real. And the ego does this to separate us from Source, because either we can believe in Source or we can believe in the ego. Because if we believe in the ego, then we're somehow separate from Source. If we believe in fear, then we're somehow separate from love, because love is all. If we believe in hate, then again we're separate from love, from God. So then we're not really the creations of Source. We don't feel worthy of that alignment when we're buying into the illusion. And that's where the ego wants us. Because if we don't support the ego's thought system, then the ego's thought system begins to dissolve into the nothingness from which it came. When we start remembering that we are love, that this is our truth, then there's less and less need for anger or hatred, anxiety, stress. When we remember that our journey is sacred, that no matter what happens, it is happening for us to reach a higher level of consciousness, for us to remember who we truly are. When we start remembering that thought process, then the need for stress and anxiety are reduced. And therefore the need for the ego's thought system is reduced. And then the ego obviously starts to defend itself. So how can you possibly offer that individual love and compassion? That the individual deserves hate and condemnation. And a lot of the world will support the ego's thought system, because that's simply how it has programmed us to believe or to react to that individual's journey. And so when we're reacting in a way that's not really aligned with the rest of the group, we get attacked for that by the ego, by other egos, by the illusions of the world. And so we feel a little bit out of control when we're being attacked by all this stuff. But the more you align with the truth within you, the more you remember that this stuff is not even real. It starts to bother you less and less. And all you want to do is really align with your truth, with your true nature, with peace, with joy, with compassion, with kindness, with generosity. This is your truth. And the more you support this truth with your time, energy, and focus, the stronger you make the alignment. And the less the ego's tools begin to affect you. Less and less they affect you. Until little by little, what affected you once so much, what you so much believed in anger and judgment and self-judgment and resentment and jealousy, when you had so much focus on the ego's illusions and lies, you made them really strong. But you made them strong. They were never strong by themselves. Yes, in the illusionary world, they seem to have a lot of energy focus on them. But in your way of seeing the world, you only made anger, resentment, and jealousy as powerful as the time, focus, and energy that you put into them. And so you were asleep, you were unaware of the truth within you. And so you focused on what the ego taught you was real. But little by little you start to notice that whenever you do this, whenever you play with the ego's tools, somewhere within it does not feel right. You're not at peace with how you're feeling. And so little by little you start to say, there must be a better way. There must be a way that really brings me peace, that brings me joy. And so you start to see that this is not really helping you out. The ego's games are not helping you out. And so you start to let them go. And so you start to align more with the truth within you. You start to stand straight and strong in your true essence. And the more you do this, your house of sand becomes a house of wood lugs. And then it becomes a cement house. And this stuff here is basically the same as it was before. It's just that your house is built more on stone now, so it bothers you less and less. You're not bothered by the winds of the world anymore. And so, let us today simply do that. Let us practice aligning with the truth within us. And practice remembering that it is we who hold the power to see this world as we so wish to, not as if we've been programmed to. When we're seeing the world as we've been programmed to, then hate, resentment, jealousy, anger, all the ego's tools pop up. When we consciously stop that and choose to see the world through our true essence, then love, forgiveness, peace, joy result. And so it is we within us, that hold the power to see this world as we so desire. And so the time, energy, and focus that we put into the truth or the illusion is in the end up to us, and only us. Nothing out there can really affect you, unless you give it the power to affect you. When you give the illusions the power, they become powerful. When you take the power away from the illusions, they become nothing. And so you see this, the games of the ego. The games of the ego are just illusionary games. It plays in its fairy tale to support its thought system as real. And it needs that to support itself, to continue to live. The ego wants to continue to live. But it is no longer useful to us. Little by little we start to see that it's no longer as useful as it was once before. But then you see, we don't curse our past, or we don't judge ourselves for our past, because we get that it was only because we experienced the past as it was that we now have peace that we're now strong in our true essence. That this, the ego's game, helped us realize who in truth we are. So there's no need any longer to continue to judge your past, to continue to judge other people's past. You start to forgive yourself. You start to actually have gratitude for this, for the past, for those individuals in the past. And so you see, you align with the truth within you, with forgiveness, with kindness, with joy, with gratitude. And the more you do this, the more you forgive the past, the more you forgive the illusion, and the more grateful you are for the illusion and for those people who participated in the illusion, because they helped you realize who in truth you are. So now, even when, not only when you're looking at the world now, in the present moment, also when you're looking at the world through the past, when you're looking at the world at the world through and thinking about the past, if you think about the past with gratitude, with appreciation, then know that you're aligning with the truth within you. If you're thinking about the past and others with judgment, hatred, resentment, then that's simply the programmed self, the ego self, taking control over your thoughts. But you see, this here and this here comes from in here, from within. And so we can support this, our true essence, or we can support the illusion. We can have peace with our past and be grateful for our past, or we can condemn our past and others who participated in our past. That's our choice in the end. It is not the world's choice. It is our choice. Through us, we see this world. Through us, we choose to participate in it as we so desire. It is our choice in the end. We have the power to see the world as we so choose to see it. The power you hold over the world you see. You hold the power over the world you see. The world you see is the world you're supporting as real. Support this, your true essence, and the world will appear more peaceful, joyful, kind. Support the illusion as real, and you're simply giving your power over to the ego, to something that is not really you. And you will feel disconnected when you do that. And that's fine, because you can only feel disconnected for so long before you ask for a better way. Or start asking yourself, is there not a better way of me seeing this? Can I not find peace where there was once stress and anxiety? Do I not desire love more than hate and fear? And when I express hate and fear, is that really me? Feel how you feel when you're expressing those illusions. And if you try to feel how you're feeling, you will feel that it's not really you. That is somehow separate from you. That is somehow not really a part of you. You will feel disconnected from those feelings. Those feelings will not feel right. They will not feel true. Okay. Let's see. Just looking at the video, making sure the light is right. The light comes on and off, so please forgive me for that. Someday I'll be a better producer. But again, everything happens for a reason. Everything's perfect. Everything is happening to help us reach a higher level of consciousness. So I don't have to judge myself for how the video looks. Yes, I try to make it as viewable as possible for you. Because, yes, for my appreciation for your time. So I'm at peace with that. Thank you very much for your time. I love you very much. If you'd be so kind as to like, comment, or share the video, it would help with the listing process, and it might help somebody find this video someday who can use the information. If you'd like to leave me a comment or a question, I would like to offer a response if possible. And if you can please subscribe to my YouTube videos, YouTube channel, Google Plus channel. I would love to have you in those communities. Again, thank you for your time. I love you very much. And God willing, we'll see each other tomorrow. Peace.